For 20 long years, the alien starship floated in silence above Earth. It didn't move. It didn't blink. It just stayed in orbit like a sleeping giant. Scientists called it the sleeper. News channels talked about it for years, but when nothing happened, the world stopped paying attention. People grew bored. Some said it was dead. Others believed it was just an empty shell. But Liam never believed that. Liam was a quiet technician who worked at a private space research station far from the city. He had always felt a strange connection to the ship. He had studied it for years, recording every signal, every flicker, every tiny change. But the ship remained silent, still, cold. Then, one morning, everything changed. Liam was sipping cold coffee in front of his old screen when every alarm in the room suddenly went off. His screens turned red. His speakers made a deep humming sound he had never heard before. His eyes went wide as the giant alien starship, after 20 years of silence, began to glow. It started with a single pulse of light, soft and blue, like a heartbeat. Then the entire ship lit up like a rising sun. The glow spread across its surface, lighting up the dark sky above Earth. Satellites turned to it. Telescopes zoomed in. All across the world, people looked up in fear and wonder. Then it happened. The ship spoke. A deep mechanical voice came from the ship, and it said only one word: human. The word echoed through every radio, every military channel, every satellite receiver. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't static. It was real. Panic spread around the world. Within hours, world leaders met in secret. Fighter jets were sent to watch the ship. The United Nations held emergency meetings. News reports filled with wild theories. Some said the aliens were calling for peace. Others believed it was a warning. But no one had any answers. In space, the United Earth Federation sent a fleet of small drones toward the ship to investigate. The drones moved carefully, trying to scan the surface. Liam watched everything on his screens. He saw the drones approach. He held his breath. Then, in an instant, every drone was destroyed. No weapons were fired. No lasers. Just a sudden wave of invisible energy. 1 second they were there. The next they were gone. Vaporized. Governments ordered all ships to stay back. The ship had spoken once. Now it was awake. And it was dangerous. But Liam saw something no one else did. As he rewatched the ship's glow on his screen, frame by frame, he noticed a strange shape inside the light. He zoomed in, cleaned the image. At first, he thought it was a trick of the light. But the shape became clearer. It was a face, a human face. It looked like a young woman. Her eyes were closed, like she was sleeping. Her skin was pale, almost glowing, and she was inside the ship. Liam stared at the image, heart pounding. It wasn't possible. How could a human be inside an alien ship? For 20 years. He showed it to his boss, but the man laughed. That's a glitch, Liam. Probably a reflection or a bug. Don't waste time. But Liam didn't stop. He stayed awake all night, analyzing the signal that said human. He recorded every wave, every tone, every vibration. And then he found something, a hidden layer behind the word, a code. It was like a second voice hidden behind the first. Liam ran it through old language models. Piece by piece, he pulled out more words. Help me, the message said. He froze. His fingers shook as he read the screen again. There was no mistake. The alien ship had not just said human. It had sent a message, a cry for help. And someone, maybe that girl inside, was asking to be saved. But why would an alien ship carry a human? And why ask for help after 20 years? Suddenly, Liam heard a knock at the door. He quickly closed his screens and walked to the door. 2 men in black suits stood outside. They didn't smile. They didn't speak at first. Then one of them showed a badge. Mr. Liam Carter, the man said, we need to talk about the data you accessed today. Liam's heart sank. They had found out. Before he could answer, they stepped into the room, shut the door behind them, and cut the power to his equipment. One of them pulled out a small device that jammed all signals. "Your research is now classified," the man said coldly. "You will not speak of it to anyone." Liam didn't respond. His mind was racing. He knew what he saw. He knew the message was real. Someone inside that ship, human or not, was asking for help. And now, someone powerful wanted to bury that truth. As the agent searched his equipment, Liam quietly slid a small chip from his sleeve into his shoe. It had the full signal copied on it. He had prepared for this. As the men continued searching, Liam looked up at the sky through the window. The alien ship was glowing again, and he knew this was just the beginning. Liam couldn't sleep that night. The words, "Help me," kept echoing in his head. He had seen the message with his own eyes. It wasn't just a glitch. It wasn't random. Someone, or something, inside the alien ship had reached out, and now the government wanted to shut it all down. The two agents had taken most of his equipment, but they didn't find the small data chip hidden in his shoe. That chip held everything. The full signal, the face, the decoded message. It was proof that the ship had a voice, and that voice had spoken directly to Earth. Liam left his apartment before sunrise. The streets were quiet. He wore a cap low over his eyes, kept his head down. He knew he was being watched. Maybe not yet, but soon. And he had to move fast before someone stopped him. He traveled to the edge of the city where the old orbital research station was located. It was shut down 10 years ago after funding was cut, but Liam still had access codes. He had worked there once, long ago, during his early training days. The lab was filled with dusty screens and old hardware, but it still had one thing he needed: an untraceable satellite uplink. Inside the cold lab, Liam plugged in his chip and ran the signal again. The same word came out: human. But this time, he looked deeper. He slowed the sound wave, pulled out hidden layers, and matched them with old encryption patterns used by deep space probes. After hours of work, he found something new: a second sentence buried in the message. Trapped inside. Human. Help me. He leaned back in shock. It was a full sentence this time. A full thought. Not random noise. Not alien symbols. Plain English. Clean. Clear. Terrifying. Someone was inside the ship. Someone who spoke human language. But how was that possible? He played the signal again, watching the waveform move across the screen. His eyes locked on the timing. The way the wave pulsed, it almost felt like it was breathing. Alive. Suddenly, the screen glitched. Static filled the monitor. A loud buzz shot through the speakers, sharp and painful. Liam jumped from his seat. The screen went black for 3 seconds. Then the face returned. This time, it wasn't frozen. The eyes opened. Liam stared, frozen in place. The girl's face looked directly at him. Not at the camera. At him. Like she could see through the monitor. Her lips moved slowly, but no sound came out. Then, the message repeated on the screen. Trapped inside. Human. Help me. Liam's heart pounded. He backed away from the screen. This can't be real, he whispered. He turned and ran to the main control panel. He needed help, someone who believed him. Not the government. Not the scientists who stopped asking questions years ago. There was only one place left. Liam opened an old contact file and sent a scrambled signal to a group known as the Listening Post. It was a secret network of rogue scientists, hackers, and ex-military minds who believed the government was hiding the truth about alien contact. They had been called crazy for years, until now. He waited. 10 minutes passed. Then a reply came through. Bring signal. Come to Black Ridge. Do not speak. Do not delay. Liam packed the chip and shut down the lab. He was about to leave when he heard a sound outside. The soft buzz of a drone. His eyes darted to the window. A black surveillance drone hovered silently just above the ground, scanning the building. He didn't wait. Liam slipped through the back exit and ran across the rocky path behind the station. He reached the old rail tunnel and vanished inside the darkness. Hours later, he reached Black Ridge, a hidden base deep inside the mountains. There, he met a woman named Dr. Isla Wren, the leader of the listening post. She was older than Liam remembered, her eyes sharp and tired, filled with knowledge and secrets. "You have it?" she asked. Liam handed over the chip. She plugged it into her own system and watched the signal play. When the word human echoed across the room, she didn't blink. But when the full sentence appeared, her hands shook. "This changes everything," she said. "I think there's a person in the ship," Liam said. "A human. And she's asking for help." Dr. Wren nodded slowly. "Then we have to go in." Liam looked at her, confused. "Go in?" The military tried. The drones were destroyed. She stepped forward. "That ship, it didn't destroy everything. 10 years ago, it opened a small door, once, for 5 seconds, just enough to scan something. We believe it was searching for a match, a specific person. It didn't find one, so it went back to sleep." Liam swallowed hard. "You think it's waiting for someone?" Dr. Wren's eyes narrowed. "I think it's waiting for you." Liam didn't understand. "Why me?" She pulled up a file, a profile, his own. "Because you've been in contact with it, more than anyone else. It spoke, you answered. And now, it's calling again." Outside, the alien ship lit up once more in the sky. And this time, the voice came again, louder than before. "Human. Help. Come." Liam stared at the screen in silence. The words repeated again. "Human. Help. Come." His heart beat faster. He had followed the signal. He had decoded the message. Now the voice was calling directly to him. Dr. Isla Wren stood beside him, watching carefully. "The ship knows you," she said softly. "Somehow, it chose you. Not a soldier, not a leader. You." Liam didn't understand why. He was just a technician, not a hero, not someone trained for missions. But deep inside, something told him she was right. The ship had waited 20 years, and now it was speaking. Only when he listened. "What if it's a trap?" Liam asked. Dr. Wren shook her head. "If it wanted to destroy us, it had 20 years. It didn't. It waited. It searched. And now it's calling you inside." Liam looked down at the chip in his hand. The data was clear. The voice was asking for help. But what was inside that ship? What kind of being could speak like a human? And why show a face that looked alive? "We need to reach the ship before the military finds out you escaped," she said. "They'll try to stop you." "But I don't even know how to get inside," Liam replied. She walked to a table and pulled out a small black case. Inside was a silver device, no bigger than a coin. "This is the access key. We took it from a drone that returned from the ship years ago. It doesn't respond to anyone, but maybe it will respond to you." Liam picked it up. The moment his fingers touched the metal, the device glowed faint blue. A soft pulse of light ran through it, like a heartbeat. Dr. Wren smiled. It just answered. They didn't waste time. By nightfall, a stealth shuttle was ready. It flew low across the sky, invisible to radar, heading straight toward the alien starship. The giant ship hovered above the clouds, silent and bright like a sleeping god. Liam sat in the back seat, staring up at it, feeling both fear and something else, connection. As they approached, alarms began to beep. The ship had detected them. But instead of activating defenses, something strange happened. The alien ship opened. A long, dark slit appeared near the lower side of the hull, slowly widening. Blue light poured out like mist. The military called this area the dead zone. No one had ever come close and survived. But this time, Nothing stopped them. The shuttle passed through the glowing entrance without resistance. Inside the ship, everything changed. The moment they crossed the doorway, the stars outside vanished. Time felt slower. The air was thick, but breathable. Walls glowed gently. There were no wires, no machines, just smooth surfaces that moved like they were alive. Liam stepped out of the shuttle, holding the access key tightly in his hand. His footsteps echoed softly as he walked down the glowing path. Dr. Wren stayed behind to guide him through the comms. "I can't go further," her voice said in his earpiece. "The ship wants only you." Liam nodded slowly and moved ahead alone. As he walked deeper inside, he felt something pulling him, not his body, but his thoughts. Images appeared on the walls, not videos, but memories. His memories. Him as a child looking at the stars. Him fixing broken radios. Him watching the ship on his screen every night. The ship had been watching him too. Suddenly, the path opened into a large circular chamber. In the center was a glass-like pod, floating above the floor. And inside it was her, the girl from the signal. She looked exactly the same. Pale skin, soft light around her. Her eyes were closed, and her hands floated calmly at her sides. She didn't look hurt. She looked peaceful. But the moment Liam stepped closer, her eyes opened. Blue, sharp, alive. She looked at him like she knew him. No fear, no surprise, only quiet relief. Then her voice echoed, not from her lips, but inside his head. "You came." Liam froze. Who are you?" "Not what you think," her voice replied. "I was human. Now, not fully." The chamber walls lit up, showing images of stars, galaxies, planets far from Earth. He saw flashes of war, destruction, then peace. Then her, beam taken, change, protected inside the ship. "You were taken?" Liam asked. "I volunteered," she replied. "I was part of the first mission. The ship saved me when the others died. But the link failed. Earth lost contact. I've been waiting for someone who could finish the connection." Liam stepped closer. "Why me?" She smiled weakly. "Because you listened. You never stopped. And now, the ship has chosen you to carry the message. The truth." Liam didn't fully understand, but he felt the weight of her words. Something big was coming. A message. A warning. Or maybe a second chance for humanity. Suddenly, alarms blared in his earpiece. Dr. Wren's voice came through, panicked. "Lead 'em. They've found us. Military ships are closing in. They're ordering us to evacuate. Now." The girl looked at Liam, her eyes urgent. "If they come, they will destroy the ship. You must decide. Stay with me and unlock what comes next, or run and lose everything." Outside, the military ships drew closer. Inside, Liam stood frozen between two worlds. And the alien starship waited for his choice. Liam stood still in the glowing chamber. His hands trembled. His heart was beating so fast it felt like it might explode. The girl inside the pod kept looking at him, not with fear, but hope. Outside, Dr. Wren's voice shouted in his earpiece, "Liam, we have 60 seconds before they open fire. You need to get out. Now." Liam looked back toward the hallway he came from. It was still open. He could run back to the shuttle, fly out before the military launched their missiles. He could survive. But if he left, he would lose the only real connection the ship had made in 20 years. He took a deep breath and looked at the girl. "What happens if I stay?" Her voice entered his mind again, calm but firm. "Then I show you the truth. I show you what the ship really is, and why it came." Liam made his choice. "I'm staying," he whispered. In the next second, the ship responded. The chamber walls began to shift, turning dark and bright at the same time. The floating pod lowered slowly. The girl inside floated upward, her body no longer still. She stepped onto the floor like gravity had returned to her. She didn't fall. She walked, gently, slowly, toward Liam. Her face was peaceful. Her movements were smooth, like she had been asleep for years and was only now learning how to move again. Then she stopped, only a few steps away from him. She raised her hand and placed it against Liam's chest. The moment she touched him, everything around him changed. Liam wasn't standing in the chamber anymore. He was floating in space. Stars burned around him. Planets spun silently. Huge ships crossed the black sky. He wasn't dead. He was seen through the ship's memory. Her voice spoke inside his mind again. This ship is not a weapon. It is a lifeboat, a living ship made by an old race, to carry the last hope of a world that was dying. Liam saw it, a world covered in fire, tall alien towers falling into oceans, people running, screaming, the sky breaking apart. Then one ship, this ship, flying away, carrying a small group of survivors. Among them, humans. They found Earth long ago, Liam said softly. Yes, she answered. They didn't come to attack. They came to ask for help. But Earth feared them. Fired first. So the ship went silent. It waited. Until you answered. Liam returned to the chamber with a deep gasp. He was back. Standing in front of the girl, she looked at him kindly. You're not just human anymore, are you? He asked. She shook her head. The ship changed me to survive. It kept me alive, taught me, connected me to everything it knows. But I couldn't leave, not until someone chose to listen. Suddenly, the chamber lights turned red. The ship had detected missiles incoming. Dr. Wren's voice cracked through his earpiece. Liam, the military fired. 10 missiles locked on target. Liam turned to the girl. Can the ship stop them? She nodded slowly. Only if you command it. It will not attack without permission. You are the chosen link now. It listens to you. He didn't know how to command a starship. He wasn't a soldier. But he felt something deep inside. A strange new connection. The ship was alive, and it was listening. He closed his eyes and focused. He imagined the missiles, flying fast toward them. He pictured a shield, rising around the ship like a bubble of light. The moment he imagined it, the ship responded. Outside, the sky lit up with a flash. A huge invisible wall shimmered into view. The missiles hit the shield, one by one, and exploded harmlessly. No damage, no attack, just defense. Inside the control room, military commanders shouted. Missiles blocked. No impact. They couldn't believe it. No human technology could do that. Inside the ship, the girl smiled. You are ready, she said. Liam opened his eyes. Ready for what? She looked up. The ceiling above them turned transparent, showing the stars again. But this time, there were more ships. Far away. Dozens, maybe hundreds. Sleeping, waiting. There are others, she said. Other ships like this one. Other voices waiting to speak. You were the first to hear. Now you must help others listen. Liam realized this wasn't just about one ship. It was about something much bigger. What do I do now? He asked. The girl stepped back, and the ship's floor opened into a wide glowing path that led deeper into the core. You lead, she said. You help humanity understand. Before the others come. Liam followed her, leaving behind the chamber where the message began. Outside, the military had no idea what had just happened. Inside, Liam took his first step into something Earth had never seen before. The beginning of contact. Liam walked down the glowing path. The walls seemed to hum, the very air around him vibrating with energy. He was no longer just a man in the middle of a strange spaceship. He was the bridge, the connection between Earth and something far greater than anything humanity had ever imagined. The girl led him deeper into the ship. Every step they took, the surroundings changed. The walls grew taller, stretching up into the unknown. The floor shimmered with light, revealing strange symbols that seemed to pulse with life. It was clear the ship was more than a machine. It was a living entity, with thoughts, memories, and a purpose. "This ship," Liam asked, his voice echoing in the vast space. "What is it really? Why did it come to Earth?" The girl looked at him, her eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. "We came to warn you," she said softly. "Your world is on the brink. Earth has been watched for centuries, ever since we first detected your signals. But you are not alone in the universe. There are others who will come, others who will not be as peaceful." Liam felt a chill run down his spine. "Others? What do you mean?" "There are ancient civilizations in the galaxy, far older than your species. Some wish to control, others to destroy. They see Earth as a prize to be won or a threat to be eliminated. The ship was sent to protect you, but it was never meant to act alone. You are the key to unlocking the future." The girl paused for a moment, then stepped toward a large glowing structure in the center of the room. It was a control panel, but unlike anything Liam had ever seen. The surface was smooth, with no buttons or screens. It was alive, pulsing like a heartbeat. "This is the core of the ship, the heart that connects to all the others." Her voice was soft but urgent. "You must unlock it, Liam. You are the link. Only you can awaken the others, and only then can Earth have a chance to survive." Liam felt the weight of her words settle in his chest. He wasn't prepared for this. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't a leader. But the ship had chosen him. It had listened to him when no one else would. He stepped forward, his hand trembling as he reached out to touch the panel. The moment his fingers made contact, the entire ship seemed to come alive. The walls around him lit up, and the floor began to vibrate with power. A strange, deep hum filled the air, and images flashed before his eyes. Images of stars, planets, and civilizations beyond Earth. And then he saw it. A massive ship, far larger than the one they were on, floating in deep space. It was surrounded by other ships, all of them ancient, all of them part of the same network. Each one was connected, each one waiting for a signal. "This is the fleet," the girl's voice echoed in his mind. "They are waiting for your command. They will come when you call, but they will not be merciful. The choice is yours, Liam. You must decide whether Earth will be a part of this network, or whether it will be left to stand alone." Liam took a step back, his mind racing. The weight of the decision was unbearable. If he called the fleet, humanity would have access to unimaginable power. But would they be ready? Could Earth handle the responsibility? Could they avoid the mistakes of the past? Suddenly, a loud alarm blared, snapping Liam back to reality. Dr. Wren's voice came through his earpiece. "Liam, we've detected an incoming fleet. Military ships have tracked you to the Starship. They're already here. You need to make a decision now." Liam's heart pounded. The military had found them. They would attack without hesitation. They would destroy the ship and everything inside it. And yet, he still had a choice. He looked at the girl. She was calm, waiting, knowing that this moment had arrived. "The time has come. Liam, choose." Liam closed his eyes, his mind spinning. He had only moments. He could warn Earth. He could call the fleet and prepare for what was coming. Or he could run, hide, and let humanity fend for itself. But deep down, he knew that running was not the answer. Earth had to face the future, whether it was ready or not. Liam took a deep breath and made his choice. "I'm ready," he said, his voice steady. "Call the fleet." The moment the words left his lips, the ship's core reacted. A massive energy pulse shot out from the ship, lighting up the dark expanse of space. The stars around them seemed to shift, and in the distance, Liam saw the first sign of the incoming fleet. Enormous ships, like giants, drifting toward Earth. Dr. Wren's voice came through again, but this time, it was filled with shock. "Liam, they've responded. It's working. The fleet is coming. Liam turned to the girl. She smiled. You have made the right choice. But as the first ship of the fleet moved closer, Liam couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. Earth had chosen its path. Now they had to be ready for the challenges that would come. The fleet was coming. And with it, the truth. The future of humanity was about to change forever. Let me know when you're ready for part 6, and I'll continue the story. Liam's heart raced as he stood in the control room, watching the massive fleet grow larger in the sky above. The ships were unlike anything humanity had ever seen. They were ancient, with sleek, shining surfaces that seemed to ripple with energy. They were alive, or at least, they felt that way. The girl stood beside him, her eyes focused on the incoming ships. They're here, she whispered, her voice calm but filled with a sense of awe. Liam couldn't tear his eyes away from the view outside. The stars seemed to bend and twist as the fleet approached. Each ship was enormous, its shape a perfect blend of technology, and something more, something alive. The ships didn't just fly through space. They seemed to move with purpose, like they were part of a larger, intricate plan. Dr. Wren's voice came through the earpiece again, louder this time, with a note of fear in his tone. Liam, we're detecting massive energy readings from those ships. We've never seen anything like it. The military is in full panic mode. They're ready to launch a full-scale attack. Liam didn't answer. He couldn't. The reality of the situation was overwhelming. The fleet was here. They had answered his call. And now, Earth had to face the consequences of that call. The girl turned to him, her expression serious. The fleet will not act without your command, but you must make it clear to them that Earth is ready for what comes next. You must guide them. He nodded, though he didn't feel ready. How could he be? This wasn't something a normal person could do. He wasn't a military leader, and he wasn't some great diplomat. He was just Liam, a man who had stumbled into the greatest event in human history. But there was no turning back now. Earth's future was in his hands. Liam reached out and placed his hand on the glowing panel again. The ship reacted, sending a pulse of energy through the control room. He closed his eyes and focused. He didn't know exactly how he was doing it, but somehow he felt connected to the fleet, to the ships out there in space. He could feel their presence, like a network of minds, waiting for him to speak. "This is Liam," he said, his voice steady but loud enough for the fleet to hear. "I have called you. I am the one who will lead Earth into the future. We are ready to stand with you, but we need your guidance. We need your help to survive what's coming." There was a long silence, and then the response came. The stars outside seemed to explode with light as the fleet made its presence known. Thousands of ships, all connected by an unseen force, moved together, aligned perfectly in the vast emptiness of space. It was like a living organism, each ship a part of the whole. They were watching him, listening. The girl beside him nodded. "They are responding. They understand your words." Liam felt a strange weight lift off his shoulders. The ships were with him. The fleet would not attack Earth. Not yet. They were waiting for something. Dr. Wren's voice broke through the moment of quiet. "Liam, the military is trying to engage the ships. They've already launched fighter jets. If you don't act fast, they'll start a war." Liam's mind raced. The military wasn't ready for this. No one was. But the ships, the fleet, they had to be the answer. He couldn't let Earth make the same mistakes again. Humanity had been isolated for too long. It was time for Earth to join the greater galaxy, for better or worse. He turned to the girl. "Can the ships protect us?" Her eyes met his, and for the first time, he saw something like sadness in them. "They can protect you, but they cannot protect you from yourselves. You must decide if humanity is ready for this." Liam's heart pounded. He couldn't wait anymore. The time had come. If he didn't act, War would break out, and Earth might never get another chance to prove itself. He turned back to the control panel, took a deep breath, and spoke the words that would change everything. "This is Liam. I order the fleet to stand down. Protect Earth from harm, but no attack, no war. Humanity must be given a chance." The moment the words left his mouth, the ships reacted. There was a bright flash, and the military fighter jets, the ones that had been heading straight for the fleet, were stopped in their tracks. They hovered in the air, unable to move. The fleet didn't just block them, it controlled them. The jets were now frozen in space, caught by an unseen force. The military had no power over the ships. The battle was over before it had even begun. Liam stood there, his breath shallow. He couldn't believe what had just happened. The fleet had listened to him. They had obeyed. But that wasn't the end. Dr. Wren's voice came through again, but this time it was full of awe and fear. "Liam, they're not just protecting us. They're showing us something." Liam looked up at the fleet, which had now moved into a perfect formation. The ships were forming a pattern, a shape. Slowly, it became clear. They were drawing something in the stars. A symbol that was slowly becoming clearer as the ships shifted in space. It was a map. The future of Earth. Liam stared at the symbol in the sky, his mind struggling to comprehend what he was seeing. The stars seemed to come alive, shifting and forming a pattern that stretched across the heavens. It wasn't just a map. It was a pathway, a guide to the unknown, leading beyond the boundaries of Earth. And it was all laid out before him. Dr. Wren's voice crackled through his earpiece. "Liam, this is incredible. It's a star map, a map of the galaxy. But it's not just showing us the way. It's showing us where we're supposed to go, where we, Earth, are supposed to fit." The realization hit Liam like a wave. The fleet wasn't just here to protect Earth. They were offering humanity a chance to become part of something much bigger, to step into the galaxy, to join the network of civilizations that had been watching them for centuries. Earth had a place in the stars, and the ships had come to help them find it. But the decision wasn't easy. He turned to the girl, who was still standing quietly beside him. Her glowing eyes were filled with understanding. But there was something else there, too. Something sad. "This is the moment, Liam," she said softly. "Humanity will never be the same again. You must decide if you're ready to face the challenges ahead." Liam swallowed hard. He could see the map, the galaxy unfolding before his eyes. The future was right there, but it was unclear. He knew Earth wasn't ready. People were still divided, torn by conflicts, and consumed by fear. Was humanity truly ready to step into the larger universe, where the stakes were higher than anything they had ever known? He looked out at the glowing ships. They weren't just waiting for him to lead. They were watching him, testing him, maybe. They had given him a choice: to embrace the future or stay isolated, to live as they had always lived, or to reach for the stars and risk everything. The girl spoke again, her voice a whisper, but it felt like it was echoing through his mind. "The path will not be easy. You will face challenges, both from within and from the outside. But you are not alone, Liam. You have the fleet. You have the future in your hands." Liam closed his eyes for a moment, feeling the weight of her words. Could he do it? Could he lead Earth into a new era? A new era where the mistakes of the past could be avoided, where humanity could learn to live in peace with other civilizations? Or would they turn away, afraid of what was to come? The military forces, still hovering above, had not moved. They were waiting too. Some part of Liam still feared them, feared the power they had, feared that they would try to take control of the situation. But the fleet had already shown their strength. They had stopped the jets without lifting a finger. They were in control now. And if humanity was going to survive and thrive, they would need to be in control too. Liam looked up at the girl once more. "If we do this, if we go out there, will we be able to survive?" She nodded, her gaze steady. "You will survive, but the future will be what you make of it." Liam knew what he had to do. He had to make the call. He had to take the leap, no matter how uncertain it was. The world couldn't stay in its tiny corner of the universe forever. The galaxy was waiting, and humanity had to be a part of it. He stepped forward,